Welcome to the Friendly Podcast Guide, sorting through podcasts so you don't have to. I'm Andy Smiley, and I want to help you discover the right podcast without having to listen to an entire episode. Now, let's talk podcasts. If you need a shot of energy, you are listening to the right episode. Vinnie Postestivo has so much energy and excitement that just listening to him will give you the umph you need to finish your day. In his podcast, he talks to celebrities and creators as they talk about their mistakes and successes that impact today's media, culture, and technology. The length of each episode is 20 to 45 minutes, and Vinnie says every episode in his podcast is kid ear friendly except the ones with Jamie Lynn Sigler, who uses some words you might not want your kids to hear. The podcast is ongoing with new episodes available a couple times a month. Before we learn more about the vibe of the show, we are going to take a quick break to talk about my first FPG giveaway. I wanted to say thank you for listening to the podcast as we approach the first birthday of FPG. It has been so much fun to launch the podcast and meet all of you, mostly virtually, this past year. As a thank you, I wanted to give one of my listeners a $25 Amazon gift card. All you have to do is fill out a quick demographic survey, and I will choose one of you to win the gift card at the end of the month. Thank you so much for filling out this survey. It will help me find podcasts that you will enjoy and find sponsors that align with your wants, needs, and desires. Thank you so much for a great first year, and I can't wait to give this Amazon gift card to one of you. Now we get to hear from Vinnie as he does a little name dropping to show that he really has learned from the best. Also, when I interviewed Vinnie, I had a bit of a cold, so thank you in advance for your patience with my slightly more nasally voice. Vinnie, can you introduce yourself to my listeners?
Yo, thank you so much for having me here, Andy. My name is Vinnie Postestivo. I'm from Brooklyn, originally from, I'm in Brooklyn now, originally from Staten Island. I have this big New York energy. I've been in media my entire life. It started in Staten Island at the Staten Island Basic Access cable channel, and then ultimately to MTV for 10 years, from 98 to 2007. And then after 2007, as an agency, I helped other networks and production companies create talent development departments or casting departments. And eventually what I now do is help non-creative businesses. So think of skincare or just any lawyer out there who's creating content, any florist, any business out there, any business owner out there who's creating content where creativity isn't the core output of what you do. I'm helping them be really efficient, and also I'm helping them win awards, get credit for their work, get discovered, be more discoverable. Like everything that I've learned from television, bringing it over here to podcasting, because I really truly believe as small business owners, as brand owners, that the intellectual property, the podcasts that we're creating right now potentially could be the most valuable thing that we create in most of our lives. And I don't want us to be selling it off for advertising or looking to sell it out, of the gate. I really am here to express the importance of being on podcasting, the benefits of it. And that's what my podcast is all about. It's sustainable creativity. I think there's something like people say there's 4 million podcasts. Everyone gets nervous to launching a podcast. There's 4 million podcasts. Maybe it's two. How many poems? How many books? How many silly dog names? How many movies? I could go on. I get really excited about the power we have now as creators, where we don't have to go into a TV network. We don't have to get approval by someone else with someone else's money, with someone else's network, who has someone else's goals and someone else's objectives tied to success. And I like helping us as individuals be really successful in this creative space. And hopefully for as long as I've been able to help some talent build their talent brands. And I hate name dropping, but for the sake of waving a red flag, saying I've been doing this a while. I was in a position where we put Beyonce in her first film and brought Mandy Moore to TV and helped Ashton Kutcher realize that as a producer, he was capable of not just creating a hit show, but a production company, a media company that ultimately launched his, a much different, career trajectory than just being in front of the camera for him. I helped Jessica Simpson reset her entire identification in front of the entire world by giving her 30 minutes to tell her story on Newlyweds instead of 3 minutes in a music video. And those small changes made a huge impact. And I'm not saying I made all the decisions or any of them, but I was in the room. So I'm here to help.
I absolutely love that. That's awesome. So I feel like you kind of gave a big picture, but can you nail down like why you started your podcast specifically?
Oh, I miss my friends. I don't work with Mandy Moore, Jamie Lynn Sigler, Danielle Fishel, TJ Lavin from The Challenge. I don't work with them anymore the way that I used to, where I was paid by the network to develop opportunities for them or working with them directly. And I realized I never want to go back to a situation where I let a company pay me to do what I do best. I'm not saying that I'm not afraid to make money doing it, but I don't want that to be the only time that I do it. Like, I love developing people's careers. I love whispering things in their ears, knowing what tools they have super easy access to, or maybe I understand something about them that's like holding them back. And what I'm trying to do now on my podcast with all those people I've mentioned, I go back, I talk about the decisions we made with Mandy. It's fun. Like, I remember when she got the phone call for Princess Diaries and we were like, well, I mean, it's got Julie Andrews in it, so that's got to be kind of cool. So like, do it. And hopefully that's what you get from the podcast.
Fabulous. So how would you describe the vibe of your show?
It's like this. It's just conversational. It's not people trying to poke around, getting at answers. I already know the answers. I already know the people. It's the story that we haven't quite figured out. So it's not like I'm poking around nebulously and I don't know what I'm trying to evoke or explain, to be honest, too. Because my guests are coming back. The access that I have to these people, what I'm trying to demonstrate is, yeah, you can put these people on your podcast, but you'll never get to talk to them about the things that I talk to them about because I was in the room with them when these decisions were made.
Definitely. That's awesome. So can you tell me, where can people find you?
Oh, you're awesome. Find me vpe.tv. I have a list. I have this thing called the Creator Hub where it's a free membership. Please come in. I help people win awards, find creator marketing platforms that are paying out podcasters or creators, just ways to get discovered. It's literally hundreds of links and data points and tools and resources that I use. It's always free. I'm at Vinnie Postestivo on all social media. I specifically spend a lot of time on Twitter and LinkedIn. So just like say hi. It's a good way to start.
I love that.
Yeah, thanks.
Perfect. I will make sure to link all of that in the show notes so that people can jump straight to wherever they want to go. Okay. So most of my listeners are moms or parents. So I like to ask, is your podcast okay for little ears, or should parents put headphones in?
Yes, the podcast is perfect for little ears. We might have some Scooby-Doo jokes, which means it'll go over the kid's head. You don't got to worry about it. But, by definition, I don't use certain language and words in anything I do because I know that the question gets amplified in the answer. So I assure you that there is a lot of intent and pre-purposement with every question that we ask and every conversation we air.
That's awesome. Okay, that is all of my questions. Do you have anything that you want to add that we haven't touched on yet?
You are awesome. And thank you so much for the space. And any way I can help you out, let me know. And anyone else listening to this who has a podcast, I have something called ihaveapodcast.com. If you actually go to ihaveapodcast.com/interview, you'll see a form, a featured podcaster form. And if you fill out that form, that's where I'm able to create a Google News verified article that will, have longstanding effects. So please take me up on this offer and let me write, a custom article about you and get that out there. And any way I can help amplify your podcast, or anyone's podcast that's listening to this, that's literally what I'm here for. I'm doing the same thing I did at MTV 25 years ago. I'm finding the next stars for the next 20 years, and I'm doing it the same exact way. I'm just not letting MTV pay me for it.
That is amazing. Thank you. I'll make sure to link that, and I'll definitely do that. That's awesome. Thank you for listening to this episode. If you know someone who could use I Have a Podcast in their life, will you share this episode with them? Also, don't forget to take the FPG survey so you can be entered to win an Amazon gift card. Talk to you soon.